he is. Hey, Glenn.
Hey, Steve. How's it going?
Good. I just wanted to wait a minute or so until some people start filling it in. Before I introduce you and stuff.
Thanks very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for being here. We're such a small group, and you're such a big guy. It's awesome to have you come see us. You know.
Well, it's an honor.
Oh no, it's all mine, sir. It truly is. And one day you will get a birthday card from me on our birthday.
Don't worry, we'll send you one back.
That's right. We're both February 11th, which I thought was really cool. I didn't know that until I started, creepingly trolling your Facebook page. But we've got a few people here, so some people are already saying hi. And I just want to introduce you. This is my friend Glenn. He is the co-founder for Adapt Your Life with Dr. Eric Westman. All right. And now Adapt Your Life is basically, it's a health food group with some really health conscious, enthusiastic people. They're just trying to get affordable products to everyone. So anything you want to add to that, you go right ahead, Glenn.
Well, first of all, on behalf of the whole Adapt team, Dr. Westman and myself, I want to thank you for letting us be on this group, and big shout out and hi to all the fans that are following you, and I think you're doing a fantastic job. So thank you very much for that. And maybe what I'll do is I'll just recap. I'll just add to what you've just said. Yes, we do sell low carb or keto type products, but that was one of the ambitious plans that we had from the beginning. So if I may, and I don't know how much time we've got scheduled for this meeting, I can just give you a quick 5 minutes.
However long you want to do.
Okay, so this is how it basically started. Around 5 years ago, myself and my wife were competitive athletes. We were, and our sport of choice was cycling. And one day, anyone who's done any cycling will know that you have to spend hours and hours per week, maybe upwards of 15 to 20 hours a week training, riding on stationary bikes, etc. So on one of those long days, many long days, my wife would read and listen to podcasts and really had an interest in nutrition. And she came across, obviously, low carb and ketogenic being beneficial to athletes. And of course, with so much doping and drugging in sports these days, she really had an interest in finding out ways of how you could get a benefit, but without obviously taking any harmful drugs or any cheating kind of drugs. So we saw all the benefits, and one name that kept on popping up was Dr. Eric Westman. And for your viewers that don't know, myself and Yael live in South Africa, in Cape Town, South Africa. So it was a long shot, and we decided, well, let's pop off an email to Eric and see if we get any response. And, to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting any response. And within 24 hours, we got a response. And that response turned into an invite onto a Skype call. And we then chatted, and I thought it would be a 5-minute call. Turned out to be a 1-hour call. And that eventually led to an invitation for Yael and I, my wife Yael and I, to go and visit him and shadow him at his clinic at Duke University in North Carolina, in Raleigh-Durham. And when we went, it just happened to coincide with the time that the low-carb cruise was sailing. So he said, well, why don't you come onto the low-carb cruise, and then after the cruise, you can come onto my clinic and you can meet our patients, et cetera, et cetera. So we did that. It was absolutely life-changing. We were honored. Yeah, we were honored to be able to, speak to his patients, and something that was, you can hear about all the stories, and you can hear about how it touches so many people and saves so many people's lives. But really, until you witness it yourself or you see it yourself, you kind of always, and especially me, I'm kind of a skeptical person by nature. And when I was listening to those stories, and I can tell you now that there were certain times that I was, myself and Yael were brought to tears. So and even now while I'm talking to you, I get we call them in South Africa goosebumps. Yeah. I think you call them goose flesh there. And it just had a profound impact on our lives. And one of the things that we decided to do, one of the questions I asked Eric was, if you've, how many people have you helped in the last 10 years or 8 years? And he said, well, I've helped around about 1,000 people a year. Let's call it 8,000 people. And while 8,000 people is a substantial amount of people, from a business perspective, I'm thinking, well, how do we get Eric to see, 800,000 people in the next 10 years?
Right.
And now that number, by the way, is we want to get to 8 million and 20 million. So we set out to do two things. That was the one thing. The second thing is that I said to Eric, what was the biggest stumbling block that you have with why people, what is your success rate? And he said, well, the success rate is he's got a 100% success rate in being able to either reduce or get people off their medications. And so while that is an unbelievable...
That's amazing, 100%.
Well, 100% either reduce or get people off their medication. However,
wow,
there is a 50% adherence problem, which means that 50% of the people that come and see Eric will start the program, but they will be sabotaged along the way. So they'll go to the store, they will get, they'll be carb creep, they'll go see this, they won't know how to read the labels at the back of the products, they'll read something that might say it's got net carbs, and he prescribes the total carb. And so what will happen is over time, over a 6-week period, these people would suddenly go back from and not be compliant with the program. And then unfortunately, he's got a 50% a dropout rate. So 100% success rate in terms of getting people off medication or reducing medication, but a 50% adherence. So I said, again, this is the business perspective. Well, how do we reach 8 million people? And then the second part is, how do we help people to stay on the program? So if we were able to create a product line that complied with Dr. Eric Westman's principles, which was really truly low carb, total carbs, no chemical preservatives, not highly processed products, all ingredients you can understand and relate to. Exactly, there you go. That's one of them. And then we thought to ourselves,
here's another one.
And there's another one. And thank you. And if I was with you, I'd give you a kiss for your support. So we thought, well, how do we do that? So we created that product line, and I'm happy to say, 2.5 years on since we did that we have managed to get that adherence rate from 50%. It's now up to northward of 75%. So that is a massive improvement, and we obviously are striving to get even better than that. And then to answer the first thing is, what are we doing to raise awareness, and how are we going to reach? He touched 8,000 people in 8 years, and I mentioned, well, how are we going to get to 800,000? And now I'm saying 8 million people. Well, I'm pleased to say that what we did is we created a number of different platforms. We've got our Facebook initiative, we've got our YouTube initiative, and what we do is we have these live sessions, just like what you're doing now, and you're doing a fine job at spreading the word. And we have these sessions where we have different speakers on a Friday. We have a program called Ask Adapt. It's on a Wednesday. So people ask questions a week in advance on Facebook, and then Dr. Westman actually answers those people's questions directly to them. So it's a way that the regular folk can ask questions and get these questions answered. We've got cooking programs. We've got all these things that we've done to get the word out there. And then something that is just incredible and unbelievable to see is that, I've been doing this for 5 years. We've started our programs about 2.5 years ago. And I can tell you now that in the last year alone, the knowledge that is seeping out there into the industry, into the market, is just incredible. And it's thanks to guys like yourself that have been touched by it yourself as well. And thanks to social media, and thanks to the information that is now freely available, versus in the past, they would have these big corporate companies, and I'm not going to mention any names. They were the gatekeepers. They were the people that were keeping the information from being let out there. And so now with social media, we have been liberated. All this information, there's no gatekeepers. The information, the science, everything that is valid is all out there. Regular folks can go find this information. They can go to your program. They can come to our site. They can do all these things. There's a wealth of knowledge. Believe me, 5 years ago, there wasn't. So it is just incredible. And I think that there's an exponential increase now in the awareness. And we see these groups, growing and growing. And again, I cannot tell you what that does to a company like us and a person like Dr. Eric Westman, who his life's mission is to help people. So, to be part of this movement where we are truly at the forefront, and I include you into that, making a real difference in people's lives, is just, it's indescribable.
Exactly. And that's like my goal is to help as many people as I can too. And it is hard. I get it. It's really hard to get out there, and it's hard to get good information out there. There's so much misinformation, which I started this thing years ago, and then I didn't really start any of these multimedia kind of outlets until really within the last 6 months. So yeah, I haven't, as far as getting the right message out there is what I've kind of been focused on. And the fact that when I started, literally the only person that I knew of was Dr. Westman. And so what I stress in my group all the time, and my people can verify this, is that I always say, listen, I follow the Dr. Westman theory. I follow as much of it that I agree with. There's some things I don't agree with, but for the majority of it, I agree with it. Probably I'd say almost 95% of it.
Right.
And I push that idea. I push that theory. And that's why I respect him and I respect you guys. And as a group, you guys are really getting the right message out there for everybody. And it's awesome. I think it's just amazing.
Thank you. And so maybe we can just let your fans also know how we met. Something else that we do is we started our very, very first event. So what we did is we saw that there were events happening around the world, but these events that were happening around the world were typically catered mostly for doctors, so they get their CME points. They have to attend a certain amount of lectures and certain amounts of hours of lectures. And typically these functions are 3 to 4 day events, and typically they're at very expensive resorts. And I'm not going to mention any of them, and they all do great and fine jobs. But I thought to myself, well, how do that's great, but if someone's going to have to take off a week of work, they're going to have to pay hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars to get to an event. How is that really going to help the masses? It's going to help some people. It's not going to help the masses. And so what we decided to do was create adapt events that we're going to be touring across the whole of America. So we created our first adapt event in Winchester, Virginia, and it was on the 24th of March, and that is where I got the opportunity to meet you, and I'm thankful for that. And so while we were doing that event, I think the event was scheduled for 9:30. The opening time for us to go set up was, I think, 7 o'clock, and who was there while we were setting up was you. And we got to meet, we got to chat, and you helped me actually set up that event, and it was an honor to meet you. So that's how we met. I'm happy to say that we've got our second event scheduled for May the 19th. That's in about 3 weeks' time, and that's in Houston, Texas. So we're on to our second event now, and the module or the plan for these events is that Dr. Westman will always be going to all these events, and what we'll do is we will partner with local doctors in that community. So, for example, Houston, I'm not sure if anyone of your fans, if they want to get another wealth of information, they should be looking at a lady called Nurse Cindy. And Nurse Cindy does an absolutely fantastic. She was actually on our platform on Adapt Live today. She's just outstanding. You should have her on, by the way. You should have her as a guest. And she's outstanding. She's actually, a lot of her videos have gone viral. She's going to be speaking at that event. We're going to obviously have Dr. Westman and Dr. Ali, who is an absolutely incredible cardiologist from the area. So we've got two of these local doctors that are joining us, and then Dr. Westman. And what we do is at the end of the event, Dr. Westman gives his world-renowned class where he it's a 1 hour kind of workshop where he gives people the tools and the means to actually leave that presentation at the end of the day and actually implement the program immediately. So that is just absolutely amazing. And the events are always on a Saturday or a Sunday, and they are very, very reasonably priced at, I think, $25. And to be honest with you, we don't make any money on these events. We barely cover our costs. And that's what we want to do. We created these events to touch as many people as we possibly can. So if you are in the area on May 19th in the Houston, Texas area, we would absolutely love to see you. And then we will be having a big event in September sometime in Dr. Westman's hometown of North Carolina. So that's going to be the third one. And like I said, we want to be in your city through many cities in America, and that's our goal.
Awesome. Am I frozen to you right now?
You
am
are.
I frozen to you?
You are, and that's why you are perpetually staring at me, drinking whatever you're drinking in that cup. So either that's a very long sip, or you are frozen.
Yeah.
But
this is the second time in a row that it's actually frozen up on me. I don't know what Facebook is doing. I don't know why it's freezing up. Well, if they say they could hear me,
I can hear you, and as long as I'm not frozen, that's okay.
Yeah, you're not frozen. It always just attacks me and freezes me. Yeah. You've answered like some of the things I put forward already. I was like, what got you into the low carb diet was going to be my first question. Bam, you answered it already. Tell us more about Adapt Your Life. You already answered that. My next one was upcoming events. Boy, you got that one right off the bat. You're not leaving me anything to really ask you.
Well, why don't we say this? Why don't we? I'm curious because we chatted when we were there, but let's speak just a little bit about your group and what you plan on doing, Steve.
Well, I recently just started a podcast, which the podcast is every Friday at 5:00 U.S. Eastern time, and it was myself and another guy from Australia, and between the two of us, we've lost over 250 pounds, and he's more of the funny part of the show, where I'm more of all the facts and the figures and all this other stuff. So together, I think we do really well, and what we're trying to do is reach another source of like another platform of people out there, because like I said, I'm trying to help as many as I can, and it's really not about how much money you make or anything like that, because it's not a place you're going to make a lot, like for what I'm doing. It's not a money making thing. It's just me trying to help as many people as I can, because honestly, like, that with me, it's how I run, I guess. I if I see somebody in need, I help them. And like the way we met, I saw you guys needing some help. I didn't mind. I put my stuff down. I just started moving chairs. I started moving stuff around. It was nothing to me to just start helping you. And I don't expect anything out of it. I just, I really just like reaching out and helping people no matter what it is. I'm like that Boy Scout that helps the old lady across the street. And my whole background was all based on that. So my goal for me is to keep continuously to help people to get them into this ketogenic lifestyle, to understand why they're doing it, because I feel like if you understand it and you know how to do it, that you're not going to rely on somebody to give you some meal plans or stuff like that. You're going to know how to find your foods. You're going to know how to when you go out with some friends, you're going to know what to eat or what not to eat. And if you stall out, you're going to realize what you can do to fix that stall. So I really like to get people to really understand it and know it, and to have ways of getting around all the obstacles, which is really why I liked your product. I went through those little box of those chocolate bars. Oh my gosh. I killed them. I even wanted to have some of them here to show them, but I killed them already a week ago. Yeah. So, those things the only complaint I have is they're too small. They're just too small.
So here's the thing about the size of those bars. So what and we get that, by the way, we get that a lot. So people, think, well, $1.80 per bar, you can get a bar for $2.50, 50-gram bar. But here's the thing. If you take a regular bar and you take the carbs out of the bar, out of all the bar, which they use many different ways to get that bar up to 50, 60 grams. A lot of bulking agents, a lot of fillers, a lot of fiber. If you take that fillers, bulking agents, and fiber out the bar, you're less than our bar. You're half the size of our bar. So here's the thing. We did an exercise where we said, well, here's the little bars that we have, the 20-gram bars. Let's say we wanted to now make that same bar a 50-gram bar. And we went and did the exercise. We got the fillers, the fiber, the bulking agents. Do you know what the extra cost was to take our bar from a 20-gram bar up to a 50-gram bar? it was another 10.
No, what was it?
Another 10 cents. So what people don't realize is that they're eating. We've been programmed. You know, you've seen the program Supersize Me. We've been programmed that bigger is better, and it's just not the case. It's quality over quantity, and in our
absolutely, I agree.
There's just no compromise. So typically speaking, when somebody has one of our bars, they really feel quite satisfied after it because it's got the fats, it's got the protein in it, it's got what it needs, and it just doesn't have the carbs, the bulking, and the fillers. So
and it's got the taste, and the taste is really good.
And it's got the taste. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, and there's so many different flavors.
Yeah.
Some people are asking, what's the name of the bars? And you can go to adaptyourlife.com.
That's it.
And you'll see a lot about it.
Yeah, and they're the keto. They're called Adapt Keto bars. Just to get off this topic of the products, I wanted to mention something to you because you spoke earlier about how you want to help people, and I want to tell you my 2 cents worth in terms of the experience. So I've been in business for about 25 years. I'm 47, by the way, and I've been in business for 25 years, and in totally unrelated industry. But I want to tell you that I have never been involved in an industry where I have met so many people so willing to give of themselves. I have never, ever, ever seen that in any other industry. And I want to just tell you that, in my opinion, it is completely unique. It's something that is completely unique to this industry. And the people that I've met, you and many others, the Nurse Cindy's of the world, the Nina Teichelds of the world. And I mean, the list can go on and on and on. But the common theme between all these people is that they are so willing to give of themselves. And I'm going to leave you with one little thought here. I actually asked Eric Westman a question. And this is the question I said to him. This is when we were starting out. I said, Eric, you know, what is it that interests you? So, for example, I said to you, you could have money, you could have power, you could have fame. What is it that ticks? You know, what is it that what's your why? You know, what do you wake up for every single morning? And you know what he said to me? He said to help as many people as he can, and that is his life's work. And if you go back and you look at what he's done in the last 20 years, he has devoted his entire life to simply helping people. It's not the money. It's not anything else. Not fame. It's not fortune. It is simply to help as many people as he can. Now, there's something else I want to quickly address. We spoke about the money, but I want to mention you should not be ashamed that at any time that we could build a business based on this lifestyle. And I'll tell you one very good reason. The person or the company that's able to build a successful platform and build successful profits within their company is the company that's going to be able to help exponentially. So with the money, you're able to really put that money to helping even more. And if you can get that exponential growth of helping people as much as you possibly can, it comes with money. For example, we do the events. I wish we could give the events for free. We can't. I wish we could give the products for free. We can't. So we generate the money to put on the events. We generate the products to do our platforms, to create new platforms, to create new ways, to reach more people. So the money should never be frowned upon. And the people that support within this industry should be proud that they're supporting these initiatives, especially to the companies that are going to go out there and with the express intention of growing this network and making it in 5 years' time, 50 times as big as what it is right now. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I can't believe how you're taking away all of my questions, all of them. Like literally, one of my next questions was, "What's the most important thing you learned about Eric Westman?"
Right,
and you answered it. I can't believe this.
You know what it is, Steve? You know what it is? It's the ketones. The ketones are firing the mental clarity. I can read your mind.
It's something. We're connected somehow. And then the other thing I said is, "Where's Adapt Your Life in 5 years?"
Right.
And you just threw it at me without even letting me ask you a single question. But I do have one left. And if you have time, can you answer some of our people's questions? But the one last thing I want to get you before you already automatically answer it before I even ask is, congrats on the daughter's movie star thing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a movie star in the family.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty great. That's pretty awesome news.
I
couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a movie star in their family. How's that?
Well, it's,
you're going to go to red carpets and stuff?
I think her movie's going to be on Netflix. When we were in America, when I saw you, she left to go shoot the movie in a place called Mauritius. It's on a absolutely beautiful island. And she's young. She's just turned 16. And we're very excited. I mean, it's going to probably be on Netflix. It's going to be shown in Europe. I'm not sure if it's going to get to America, but it will be on Netflix. And what's just incredible is that she got the lead part, which is just mind blowing. So
that's amazing. It's amazing how everything for you is just clicking now. It's really good things happen to good people. That's the way I look at it.
You can see the smile on my face. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very proud.
All right. I want to see if anybody has any questions. Would it be all right if you answered a couple questions?
With pleasure.
Here's a question for you. Discuss the amount of ratio of protein to fat you need daily per meal. And can you eat up fat at one meal and a lot of protein at another meal? That's basically what he's having. Without having a significant insulin response. Do you have anything to say on that?
Well, let me put Dr. Westman's cap on. So Dr. Westman doesn't like a regimented type of programs where people are typically, breaking down the macros and really fussing about the every meal. And the reason why he does that is that he believes in the simplicity of the lifestyle. He believes that if you make something, very, very difficult, or you have to go and get a specific calculator, or you have to really write it down, or he believes that becomes a chore, and a chore is something that we don't want to, eventually we're not going to want to follow these kind of chores. If we rather make it a lifestyle, and we simply stick to the foods that are very, very low in carbs, they contain the natural amounts of fats that are found in real food, you're not going to really have to fuss too much about those regimented, specific kind of macros. Right. So I learn and I listen, and as far as I'm concerned, I find Dr. Westman is the king. So I'm not going to be able to top what I hear him answering many folks that ask very similar questions. And then in terms of, again, if you look at the different fats at one meal and the proteins at another meal, I think that if you really stick to foods that are very low in total carbohydrates, and they have fat that naturally, is contained in the foods. Protein is, by the way, a vital macronutrient. No one should be cutting out their proteins. And if you eat to satiety, and his famous saying is, eat when hungry, stop when full, drink when thirsty.
I say it all the time.
So many people fuss over these things, and he just doesn't.
Right, and his thing is basically stay under 20 total carbohydrates, basically 2 cups of leafy green vegetables, 1 handful of crunchy green vegetables. And that's his thing, that you should have those every day. He says you eat when you're hungry, you stop when you're full. It's just he makes it as simple as he can. And he has that famous page 4, which I've talked about numerous times. It's just, if you have a chance to go see him live, he is so giving, he's so personable, and he explains things so easily that somebody, that I had no clue what I was doing at that time. It made it so simple that instantly I started losing weight. And people try to complicate things so much now, and for him to maintain this simple approach is just amazing. I think it just goes to credit what kind of person he is. He's made it simple so that it helps more people, and it really is. Some people think it can't be that simple.
Well, I'm going to mention
he makes it that way.
I'm going to mention one. I'm going to give you and your listeners and fans a little heads up. There's going to be a book that's going to be released in the next couple of months from Dr. Westman. And while many people will know, you know that book. You actually showed me the little book that he used to have on Amazon, the little pocket book.
Yes.
He's going to be doing another pocket book. Obviously, it's going to be a substantial book, but it's not going to be one of these big books, these thick books. It's going to be a keto pocket book. And while everyone is coming
Nice.
out with their massive books, he's coming out with a pocketbook. So it's just going to, again, everything that he does is to simplify, to make it easy, really uncomplicated. And that's what our message is, to try and show people it doesn't have to be difficult. It's easy, and it doesn't have to be complicated.
Exactly. And it's so easy to carry around. So if you ever have a question or you forget something that you read, you just reach in your pocket and there it is.
Right.
Right. I hadn't told anybody, but I kind of want to tell somebody. It's just been eating at me, and I'm just busting at the seams. And I don't know if the offer is still there, but you did ask if I would be willing to speak in the September one, and I thought, this is like an opportunity of a lifetime for me. So I hope that I can. I hope that still works out, and I hope that everybody can get to the September one in North Carolina. I think that would be an amazing keto event for a lot of people.
So when I started, and I mentioned that when we went to visit Dr. Westman at his clinic, it's all very well that you hear the stories, you look at Facebook, you see me speaking, you see you speaking, but at the end of the day, people want to see real stories. So what we are doing going forward in the events is that it's going to be during the workshop. It'll either be before or after the workshop. We're going to choose a couple of people, and which obviously we mentioned you, to come up on stage and actually tell your story. It's not going to be a whole long presentation. It's going to be literally a couple of minutes, tell your story, and really show the people, hey, I'm a real example. This is what happened. This is what happened to me. This is how it affected my life. And instead of people reading, hearing about it, they can see it, and it just makes such a great. It's so impactful when that happens.
Yeah, and I just love that idea. I love it, and I'm excited about it, and no matter what the date is, I already told my wife, I said, no matter what the date is, I'm going,
100%.
Because it would be great. Yeah, it'd be great to see Glenn again, and it'd be great to hopefully inspire some people and to get them to understand that keto is real. It's not just something that it's not one of those, fad diets or something like that. This is scientifically and factually, this is probably the best way to eat, and it will just do nothing but gain strength in the future. I'm totally 100% believer in that.
I agree with you. Are there any more questions that your fans have?
I know Jennifer wanted you to flex your arms. That was one of the things. I did mention you were like this buff, ripped guy that they were all just ooh and ah over. So
Well, first of all, it's, as you can see, I'm in a thick. So in South Africa, it is our we're going into winter. I know that you guys are going into spring.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
That's keto, everybody. That's keto right there.
Oh, goodness me.
That's funny. All right. I want to thank you for showing up. It was a pleasure to have you. Am I still frozen? I don't know.
You're still drinking that. You're still drinking that drink.
Unbelievable. I don't know what's wrong with Facebook, but I don't usually do like. I think I'm probably going to go away from the Facebook part of it because that's the second time in a row. I'm going to end up doing probably Zoom or something like that and get them broadcasted through Facebook. They're a little more reliable.
Was it a pleasure?
I apologize to everybody that saw this, and I'm sitting here frozen drinking my little Zip Fizz. I don't know if you've ever heard of a Zip Fizz. It's just a vitamin kind of supplement that goes in your water. It's really good. I don't get paid for any promotion of that. I just tell people about it. But if you guys want, check out adaptyourlife.com. It's a great product. There's a whole bunch of different ones to choose from. You realize now that how much I like Glenn, that Glenn is a great guy, He's doing a lot of what I'm trying to do, is just to get the word out and help people. And the more we can share his products, the more we could share his posts, the more we could go to his multimedia websites and stuff, and just support him and his effort. I think we should do our best to do that, and just do what we can. That's what I say, because we're all out to do the same thing. We're all trying to help people to get a better life, to live longer, to enjoy their families longer, and just to have an overall happier, healthier life. That's the way
one
I
of your
see
listeners, one of your viewers, Luann, Dankie Glen. That's Afrikaans.
Yeah.
That's it's part of our one of our native languages here. Thanks, Luann.
Right. Yeah. They are great. They are awesome.
On behalf of Adapt, again, Steve, thank you very much. And to everyone that watches this video and all the live viewers and all the comments that I see coming across the page, it is just absolutely an honor and awesome to meet you guys on social media. And we hope that we can meet you guys, every single one of you, in person. And again, on behalf of everyone, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Glenn. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Take care.
All right, buddy. See you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.